Okay. Good morning, ladies, and welcome to today's session, our mindset session, which I've got to say is my absolute favorite of all, because we are now sort of getting to a place in the program where it's about really getting activated, like inside as well as outside. And so the mindset sessions up until now have really been about how can we get clear on where we're at with some of the things that are in our way. Where can we get clear at what we have already to get us to our desired outcomes? And now it's like, how can we really start to take actions to really activate this way of being, doing, and having the six-figure mindset? So today is called Manifesting the Six-Figure Mindset. And manifesting is an interesting concept. We've seen so many different things in the last sort of 10 years around how to manifest. And whether you're sort of that way inclined to get into the more sort of energetic side of manifesting, there is definitely a practical and logical side to manifestation. And all it is about how can I materialize the stuff that I really want to create in my life. So whether it be things, whether it be people, whether it be situations, it's how can I have that come together and be my environment, all right, and have those things. So what I'd like to do before we start is just check in with you ladies and know that our chat box is working. So if you'd like to say a quick hello in the chat box. And also, as you're saying hello, what I'd love you to do is share with me, how did you find the last week with the task of showing gratitude and actually naming it and putting it out there on our Facebook page to share with each other daily? What was the experience like? What have you found it's done for your mindset so far? And I will go and have a look there. Hello, Julia. Hello, Tony. Hello, Lexi. So yeah, how did we find that the gratitude task? So Julia had regular morning ritual with writing everything down. Perfect, great, awesome. So it's sort of like creating that daily ritual. All right, and starting with gratitude is always on point. Any other shares? Check in on the, loved it. Yep, love sharing the group. Absolutely. So did I, Lexi. It really, it helps the momentum. It helps us all keep our mindset on track daily. That's exactly what we're doing here. And Tony, I loved sharing my gratitude. It made me stop and think how lucky I am. Yes. And so what you'll find is that already you're starting to gravitate to what you're grateful for, what is going well, what you're thankful for. And that's exactly what we wanted to do with this activity, is to build that muscle around focusing more on what you do have as opposed to what you're yet to create. All right. So I want to share with you, before we jump into the manifestation of the six-figure mindset, a model that I use, and it's a magic model. All right. But my magic model has 2 A's. All right. And I really find that this model, when applied in manifestation, is just a real, it's a practical, logical side of creating those things that we really want to create very, very quickly. So my magic model is MAAGIC, and it stands for mindset, action, accountability, goals, intentions, and consistency. So we get to build the M of my magic model, and it's definitely about the mindset. And you'll already know so far that it is so crucial to have that on point. We also need to know that there has to be action taken, especially now that we're going to delve into manifestation. It is awesome to work on mindset and our energy centers to create that energy around manifesting something. Yet if there's no action taken, then no momentum, no physics can take place. No vibrational frequency can be created. Therefore, how can it be attracted? All right. And then the accountability is, and as we just shared, to be able to share it and have somebody else championing us, keeping us on point, acknowledging our strengths and also our stretches, it just keeps us moving in that action. Of course, the center of this magic model is goals. There needs to be an outcome. What is your desired outcome? What is the goal that you're working towards? It is crucial that you have a concept of what that is. It doesn't need to be refined. It doesn't need to be sparkly. It doesn't need to be specific just yet, as long as there is an idea of what that goal is. Then the next, and this is more of an internal energetic mindset driven, but it's about intention. What is the energy? What are the values and the beliefs? What's the intention that you have behind creating this goal and manifesting these outcomes? It's really, really important to know what your intention is, because if your intention is just to go, you know, it's just a bit of fun, then that's the kind of energy that it will create. If your intention is, this is a must do, going to do, I'm creating this, it has a lot more force behind it and creates a whole different vibration around things. And then of course, C is the consistency. It's about doing those things daily, weekly, creating those great habits so that it just becomes part of what we do. And so when we're doing those things consistently, and I often talk about creating confidence around this. The only way we can really, really build confidence is to create sort of competence. And the only way to get competence is to do it, but to do it consistently, right? And so when you're doing that, it just becomes part of the norm. So, anything that you've done in the past, and those of you who have ridden a bike before, whether you remember or not, once upon a time you got on that bike for the first time and it was scary. When you went for your driver's license, the first time you get in that car and you look at, how am I going to control all of this at once, especially if it's a manual, all right? That whole clutch and accelerator thing, it becomes a dance. It becomes a bit of an orchestral matrix to have everything happening at once, yet keeping it consistent. All right, so manifestation is awesome. I love it. I definitely love the energetic side, yet today I'm going to focus more on the practical and logical side of really creating and materializing who it is you need to be as a six-figure mindset businesswoman, what it is you need to do as a six-figure businesswoman, and what is it that you're going to have? What are you going to create when you are that six-figure businesswoman? So as I've spoken before with mindset, our words are everything. So if your words are very much about if I am a six-figure woman, if I earn, $150,000 this year, the ifs will keep you still. They will keep it in that dream world. They'll keep it at arm's distance. Whereas when you start to embrace this with the words of when, so when I am a six-figure earning businesswoman, I will do, I will be, I will have. So today's language will be all around when. When I am a six-figure businesswoman, here is who I'll be, here is what I'll do, and this is what I'll have. So I'm curious so far. How does that sound, girls? If you want to pop me a message in the chat box. Are you liking what you hear? Yes, great. Good. Awesome. Fantastic. Great, 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 great. So I'm going to throw it out there. Have you noticed anything different about me today? How have I shown up today? There's no wrong or right. I look amazing. Oh, thank you. It's only because you can't see from the neck down. I'm totally in fluffy slippers. Relaxed and happy in your flow. How have I been when I have come, so if you don't look at how I look, do you notice, maybe you might not be able to, do you notice if there's a difference on how I am holding my body today? I look energized. I'm standing up. I'm standing up. Okay. We are getting activated today. So we have an activity a little bit later where I will highly suggest that you stand up while we do it. Yet, if you don't, that's cool as well. Wait until you want to do the recording and do this activity standing up. I wanted to show you, I wanted to display to you the difference of how we can create energy and activate simply by using our body differently. So because I really, really wanted to activate today's session, I want to do it standing up. Because when I'm standing up, I'm really able to get completely aligned with how I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, and how I'm connecting to what we're sort of talking about today. I really want to be in it. I want to experience it. And the activities that we're going to do today are very much about experiencing this, experiencing who you need to be, what you need to do in order to have that six-figure mindset, in order to manifest it. And I want you to step into it. I want you to feel it. I want you to really get the energy, the vibe, and the frequency of what it's going to feel like. Because what happens is when we often go into, okay, this week I haven't had any calls, and we'll sit down and we'll have a cup of tea or a coffee, and we really just, we meh, right? and I always, when my kids do that, I go, okay, stand up, come with me, we're going to go for a walk, and I want to talk to you. They don't know that's because I want to get them activated. Our body actually physically needs those chemicals to be activated, to be thinking clearly, to get really clear on what it is we want to manifest. All right. Yet before we do that, I want you to do a little bit of an exercise where I'm going to share the screen for a moment. If it will let me, yes, it will, so that you can see what it is that I'm talking about, as opposed to me just explaining it. So pen and paper. Yes, Julie, yeah. Okay. Pen and paper. Okay, so do you ladies see an orange graphic on your screen that has me in the middle? Woohoo, yep, cool, all right. I'm very much about supporting your brain through any of this change work and mindset. So the greatest way we can work with our brain, because what we want to do is, business can get us very much in our left side, our practical, logical, facts and figures, must-dos, have-tos. What I want you to do, especially when we're creating and manifesting, is get into the right side of the brain. It's the creative. It is the dreamer. It is the color. So it's really important that if you do this just with pen and paper now, cool. I'd love you to go back and do it with some colors. So I like to get a big piece of paper. I do the big colorful me in the middle, and then I have these puffy things around it. You can do any sort of creativity. Yet what I'd like to do is guide you through this activity one at a time. So even on the piece of paper, as long as you've got me in the middle, and your first little bubble that's just a bubble. And in this bubble, for the activity of right now, even if there's 3 things that you're able to put down, I want you to write down in this bubble, what are your qualifications? So what is anything that you have got a certificate for, a diploma, a tertiary education, anything that has been a course that has required you to complete, a certification or qualification of some sort. These can be conventional or non-conventional, just everything that basically in your head would go, I've got a qualification around that. And if I could have somebody just sort of jump on quickly to, did I just lose that, girls? If somebody could, okay, share with me very quickly.
Yeah, I've got a degree in graphic design.
Awesome. And is there anything else you've done that would be certified, qualified?
Any St. John's course, probably.
Yeah, write it all down. So anything that your brain, and the thing is you can go back and fill this in more.
Yeah.
But it's just acknowledging and notating that stuff where it's got a stamp of approval. I have created this level of, yep, perfect. All right. All right. And Tony, I might, if you don't mind being my demonstration person, if we're to move into the next bubble, create the next bubble, and this is about what's the knowledge and the experience. So the things that you've done where, so I've used the MYOB software. I didn't do a course though. I basically just used it. And then now I've got knowledge around it. Customer service. Some of us have just really created an awesome customer service knowledge and awareness without actually doing a course. So are you able to give me a couple of things that you can think of which would be knowledge or experience that you have due to just doing it?
Yeah, look, absolutely. I just set up Mr. Lid from scratch. You know, I haven't done a business course. I've never run a business. Made my own website. Didn't learn how to use Xero. I definitely do not know anything about accounting.
Perfect.
Everything around running Mr. Lid has been from importing products. Never done that before. Knew nothing about it.
And so it's really important that you write these things down: importing, invoicing, software, accounting software, customer connections, all these things. Really, really notate them all down. Right, and even if you put 3 down just for the exercise right now, that will be perfect.
Yep.
All right, and you'll have time to go back and really fill these spaces in. All right, ladies, just looking in and give me a nod. How are you going with this activity so far? Yep. And Jasmine, we are holding you there with little Bubby. I'm going to start rocking. Okay, so let's move into the next space. And here is, what are your greatest attributes? So those things that you really could own. Like, I really do own the fact that my integrity is beyond normal. It always is the first thing that I hold. That's one of my attributes. I'm a really clever listener. I can listen into things that aren't being said. You know, those sorts of things. Those things that are your attributes. They're those special little bits that make you able to do really well what you do, your strengths. So again, Tony, when you're ready, if you could give me a couple that you're able to acknowledge.
I just really quickly wrote down honesty, real, empathetic, generous.
Perfect. And own that. And again, when you go back, you're going to fill that list up even more. Let's move over to, what do others tell you that you are great at? What do others tell you that your strengths are? So create another bubble. And then when you're ready, if you want to share a couple with us.
I said uplifting, caring, loving, generous.
Mm-hmm. And are they things that you're resonating with? Do you go, yep, that's me, I can own that?
Pretty much.
Awesome. Yep.
Yeah.
Even if there's some of you that are writing things down that somebody else has told you and you're like, because sometimes that's just a bit of a mindset and a confidence thing where we'll go, yeah, but, or I still want you to write it down. I really want you to acknowledge what others are acknowledging about you. Really, really important. Now, this is same, but different. The next little bubble is about what's the feedback or compliments that you've received. So let's put this into business perspective. What's some of the feedback, Tony, that you've got about how you've done business with people, about what your product is, all those sorts of things? What's the feedback and the compliments, but more so about how you do your business, how you are your business?
I guess the feedback I've had is that people like to hear what I have to say. That I sometimes doubt. But I think that people see that I run my business with honesty and truth and fairness, and I stick by my products. So I back it 100%. So that's the feedback I get.
Yeah. So writing some of those things down so that you can remember them, and you really, when you go back and do this activity, really get chunky. Like sometimes you start this and it just, your page just overflows because you go, oh, I remember when such and such said this. So, oh, yes. So really sort of, and make sure you at least have 3. All right. Okay. Now the very last one here, the little bubble here. What are your superpowers? So this might take a moment to really sort of go inwardly and go, okay, what is it? What is it that I do that is my point of difference, that is my superpower? What is it that I do that's just that unique thing that I have? And I'm curious, are you finding that easy to do?
No, not as easy.
Is there one thing that you can acknowledge?
Yeah, I would think a lot of people would say would be my honesty.
Yeah.
And it can sometimes be a good or bad thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so what is it about your honesty that makes it your superpower?
I'll always do it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
even when I know it's going to get me into strife. But
Right.
I know sometimes it's just what I stand up for, what I'm all about.
Okay. And that's where I want you to connect with. It's a values and beliefs thing here. It's usually about awareness of self, awareness of others, what's good for me and what's good for others, what's good for the whole, situation. So it's owning that, because when that is your superpower, because not everyone does it like that. But if that's your essence that has you be who you are, it gives you that like fingerprints, it gives you that point of difference, then own it. And like you say, sometimes I've got to own the bits where people don't like it or they might want to move away from me because of it. I still stand by it.
Yeah, I definitely own it.
Awesome. Perfect. Excellent. So while you just get a snapshot of that, Tony, and just look quickly at what you've done, knowing that you're going to go back and definitely fill it in with more, I'm curious, what are your thoughts about yourself right now?
I feel like I've achieved a lot. I've got a lot to put down on paper.
Yeah.
There's a lot to me. There's a lot of different elements.
So, I often get people to keep this, and that's why you want to make it colourful.
Yeah.
Have it in front of you, because when you have a moment of, am I enough? Am I doing? Am I being? Can I want you to just look at this, because this is what you've been able to acknowledge about yourself when you take the time to do that. We don't always do that for ourselves. So now you've snapshotted it, keep this. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Just curious, Lexi, would you like to share how did you find that activity, and what are your thoughts about you?
Yeah, I've found some of the questions a bit challenging. I have done this a few times though, this kind of work. So I guess I know that I can fill it out. But I still found, interestingly, some of the questions a bit challenging just to think of, like, right in the moment. So it'll be good for me to have this up where I can see it and be reminded of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I'm curious, because this sort of thing, and it will change with you all the time. So I'm curious, if you were to choose one that had you a little bit sort of still and thinking, which one was it?
The one that I haven't got any for is what feedback or compliments have I received?
Okay.
But it's funny because I know some of the feedback I get, but the other ones just came a little bit more easily for me to write out.
All right. So because today we're getting activated, and because today is about the logic practical side of this, what you could do if you wanted to, because here's the thing, I've had enough experience in and around you where I've heard lots of feedback and seen lots of feedback around you. When we ourselves are just for whatever reason not hearing that, it usually is a direction of focus. So if you were to say this week, if you want to, just for fun, go back to this group, go back to some spaces where people have written things down to give you feedback.
Yeah.
And what you would do is you'd actually take 10 minutes to sit down and write out some of those things. How you can really amp that up is that you'd connect with 5 people today and you'd say, look, I'm doing a course, got a great activity I'd like to complete. You can help me do it. Could you give me some feedback on what you think my strengths are?
Yes.
And I often sometimes too will go, there's certain people I'll go to and I'll go, I'm curious, what do you think my stretches are? So it's sort of like all it means is when there's that spot where we go, I'm finding this hard, find out what it is that's hard about that, and you'll usually have someone around you that can give you some suggestions on moving through it. So if there's any of these parts, and this is why it's great, Lexi, for you to share this, is that if there's anything there that you are finding that I can't complete that or I'll just leave that, I want you to connect with us on the page, and all we can all do is give you some suggestions on how you can explore that particular bubble. How does that sound?
Yeah, perfect. Really
Cool.
good.
So then that way, Lexi, honestly, it will just give you some feedback, so that your brain can go, oh, here's the feedback I get. Here's what's said.
Yeah.
All right?
It's funny because I know it's there, but it just didn't come. Like the things that people have said just didn't come.
That's right. And so that gives us a bit of insight to how we sometimes go from day to day. We're not listening to, and I might have said this in the first session that we had, our brain's interesting. It's got the 2 highways, and it can't be in the 2 highways at once because there's only 1 car. Yet the thing is, if we're always in that lane of going, what's missing, what don't I have, what can't I do, you're not allowing yourself to go down the laneway, ask someone for some feedback, and go, what is it that I can do? What do I do well? What have I got? Because it's just what our brain likes to do. So the thing is, it might just be that it's time to get in the car, go down the laneway, travel down what I do have, who I am, and what I do well, and then see what you can see along that driveway. Perfect. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
All right. So what that does is it just gives us a little bit of, it's making the time to connect with, okay, what is it I do? What do I know? What do I do well? What's my superpower? And this is where I'm at. All right. Where I want to head to is being that 6-figure mindset and manifesting that. And so the way that we can manifest that is go through an actual process, and this is a change process. So it's one of those processes with NLP that gets clear on what it is that you want to create so that you can get that outcome, and for you to become mindful as well as unconsciously aware of the things that may need to be focused on or done differently in order to have that 6-figure mindset. So this is the activity where I would highly suggest that if you can stand up, please do. Yet if that's not practical, then that is okay. Because what's going to happen here is that I want you to have, I keep doing that, ladies. I want you to have a space that you can walk 7 paces, okay, with your eyes closed. So I want this to be safe. And then you'll also be walking backwards 7 paces. All right, so do you have enough space? And yet if you're unable to, you can definitely do this mindfully. All right, watching all you ladies get activated. Now there's going to be a part to this activity that you are going to sit down and do a written part of this. That's why I'm showing you the steps at the moment. I think it's really great to actually unconsciously allow yourself to walk through these steps first before we get too in our head, all right? Because your your internal knowing, your internal belief system, your internal values will all align to what it is that you really want to create. And some may have some belief systems that will need retweaking, yet unconsciously you have all within you now. So what I'd like you to do is just allow yourself, and I'm going to go through this quickly before we start the activity, is to acknowledge that there's 7 steps here. The first step to creating this change, of mindset so that you can manifest this desired outcome of earning those 6 figures, is that you need to have an environment that supports you. Now, the environment is not just where you are and what's in your space. It is very much creating that space of order, creating that space that really nurtures you in who you need to be that 6-figure earner. It's also who you have in your environment. All right, so it's not just what the environment's like, it's who do you have around you? What is your actual physical space? And then who do you invite into that physical space when you are being and doing 6-figure earner and business owner? Once you get clear on that, and once you understand and feel that, it's then moving into the next step of what are the behaviors. So what are you doing? What are you doing in that space? What are you doing outside of that space? How do you behave? What behaviors are working for you? What behaviors might need to change? All right. Once you sort of get clear on that, it's moving into the capabilities. So what do I know how to do, and what skills do I have? Yet also, what capabilities do I need to refine? What do I need to learn? What do I need to develop? The capabilities that are going to allow me to be that 6-figure mindset. Once you've got those in place, it's then moving to the values and the beliefs. So what's important to you? What do you expect? It's a given situation. This has to happen for me to align with this. All right, so your values and your beliefs around being the 6-figure mindset. Then the next is the identity. Who am I? So who am I as that 6-figure earner? What does that even mean? And then the last step, now whether you have faith, beliefs, anything, this is more when I talk about the spirit and the purpose, I mean, what is the higher purpose of this? What is this as you as part of a bigger whole? And some of us may not really think that there's anything outside of us. So basically, what is it in the bigger, community? So what am I here for? What am I part of that's greater than me? All right. So my work is very much, my biggest purpose is about evolving, our human consciousness. I really, really, I stand by that because I really believe in humanity. So that is my bigger purpose. That's what my bigger whole is. So coming back to the beginning again. And what I want you to do when you walk through this activity is just allow yourself and trust your unconscious mind. Each step you take with the words that I say will move you through. If you find that you want to go into your head, take a nice big deep breath and just come down into heart space. Really trust and allow yourself to walk through this activity. All right? Okay. So what I'd like you to do is know that you've got that space around you. And the very, very first space that you're going to be in, I call this the meta, or the space where it's like you're the observer. You're stepping out of your life for a second and you're just looking in. And this meta space allows you to go, okay, I'm going to take a nice big deep breath and I'm going to choose to walk a 7-step path right now. And I'm going to allow my unconscious mind to take me on that journey. And I know that I have all within me that I need to know right now. So take a nice big deep breath in and really allow yourself to be in that observer space, that meta position. And imagine you have 7 steps ahead of you. And before you take your first step, I want you to really, really allow yourself to connect within and connect with that thought, that feeling, that understanding of stepping into a 6-figure mindset, of manifesting this inwardly as well as externally. And creating all that needs to be created to nurture you in that space of manifesting that 6-figure mindset. Now, another nice big deep breath, and I want you to take your first step. And this first step is where I want you to step into your environment of where you are right now in life. What's your surroundings? Where are you? Where are you creating this business? Where do you sit? What is around you when you're doing the modules of the course? What is your actual environment right now? Who you are right now in what you know, what you do, and what you understand. And just allow yourself to see what you see, feel what you feel, and hear what you hear, allowing yourself to be in that environment of where you are right now in the course and in your business. And now in a moment, I'm going to get you to take another step forward, and this time you're going to step into your behaviors. And now step in, take that step into your behaviors. And here, this is what you're doing right now in your world right now, as you're contemplating, exploring, discovering, and creating through the Wealthy Woman Mindset course. How are you behaving? What does it mean for you in your daily behavior? As you're envisaging creating that 6-figure business. See yourself, feel what you feel, and hear what you hear as you acknowledge the behaviors right now. Nice big deep breath, and this time you're going to take another step, and this time you're going to step right into your capabilities. So what is it that you do know how to do? What skills do you have right now that are allowing you to take the course, to immerse yourself in your business, to stand in your own authentic self right now? See what you see, feel what you feel, and hear what you hear as you stand in your capabilities of what it is that you do know right now to support that mindset. And now I'd like you to take another step, and this time you're going to step right into your values and your beliefs. The values and beliefs that you have right now, the things that are important to you right now in this space of learning and creating. What is it that you expect? What values need to be fulfilled right now? And what are your beliefs around creating this particular business? Just see what you see, feel what you feel, and hear what you hear as you allow yourself to unconsciously connect with your values and your beliefs right now. Now taking a nice big deep breath, and this next step is going to have you step right in, right now, into your identity. And this is who I am. Who am I right now? Right now, as I'm learning, creating, exploring, developing, being nurtured, acknowledging that there's just some things that I may or may not know about who I am right now. See what you see, feel what you feel, and hear what you hear right now in who you are. And now this last step that you're going to take, I want you to take a nice big deep breath and step right into this space. This is the space of your greater purpose. This is the space of your essence, of your all-knowing, of your all-being. This is the space of pure connectedness to your spirit, to the greater whole. This is the space of the purpose of why you are here and what your significant part is. Here is the space that your superpowers get supercharged. I want you to stand in this space, and I just want you to immerse and feel the feeling of this. Connect with the vibration of this particular space. Know that right now you're taking in all you need to know, because here is the plentiful, bounteous knowledge and learnings that you have within yourself right now. Really allow yourself to immerse in this space. As you see what you see, feel what you feel, and hear what you hear, I want you to take in all of the learnings, the knowledge, and the personal power of this space. Breathe it in. Know that it has osmosisly connected in with your body, with your mind, your heart, and your soul. And now you're going to allow yourself to take it all and take a step back. And as you take this one step back, you step back into your identity. And this is who you are now, with the six-figure mindset, manifesting your identity of who you are. Who are you being with a six-figure mindset? Breathe it in, see what you see, feel what you feel, and hear what you hear right now. This is who you are. And now taking another step back, this time back into your values and beliefs. Your values and beliefs now, as that six-figure mindset. What are your values? What are your beliefs now? Really breathe it in, take it in, see what you see, feel what you feel, and hear what you hear as you embrace and own those values and those beliefs of being that six-figure mindset. Now a nice big deep breath and taking another step back, and this time straight back into the capabilities. Here is what you are capable of as that six-figure earning businesswoman. You know this stuff. You own this stuff. You have all you need right now. Taking a nice big deep breath, and this time stepping back into your behaviors. What is it that you're doing now Really breathe that in, take that in. Behaving in that six-figure mindset. What are you doing? Where are you doing it? How are you doing it? What are your behaviors? Own it, feel it, breathe it in, take it into your stance and own it. Feel it run through the center of you like a steel rod, yet it has the fluidity of keeping that strength as you move. Breathing it in. And now as you take the next step back, I want you to step back into your environment now as this six-figure mindset. This amazing, sensational businesswoman who owns herself ultimately, her superpowers. Breathe it in and look around at what your environment is. How is it different now? Who's there? What's going on? How does it support you? Breathe it all in. See what you see, feel what you feel, and hear what you hear. And now as you step back out into that metta position, I want you to take a nice big deep breath. And when you're ready, open your eyes and shake it off, shaking your arms, legs, rolling the neck, rolling the head. Taking a nice big deep breath. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And just be. I'd totally love someone to jump on and let me know how was that for them. Who would like to share? And not everyone at once. There's a powerhouse going on over here. Love it. I'll let you unmute yourself. Who'd like to have a go? Share with us. You're basking in the aura of it all. Julia.
Okay, I'll go. I can certainly see where I need to step up. I mean, it was amazing. It was really such a great way to see ahead of you what you need to do. And I feel as though where I'm falling short is my integrity with myself and making appointments to myself. So just waking up in the morning and having that appointment to myself that I need to do this and not just pushing it out. And I want to wake up at 5 o'clock. I want to, but I'm not. So
okay, yeah. Beautiful language, Julia. I love it. When you want to, that has a lot more conviction and intention behind it. So I'm curious, if you stepped into this wanting to create that, what would it be like then? Talk me through even your night before to the morning when you wake up. What could that be like for you?
It would mean going to bed earlier and not feeling as though, because what I'm doing is I'm working hard and then I'm feeling as though I need to reward myself by just sitting in front of the TV and maybe watching a bit more TV than I should. So to change that, I need to set a time that I need to go to sleep that allows me to wake up at 5 and do that and commit to doing that. It'll be hard initially, but just sort of get into that routine.
Mm-hmm. So if I can use this as a moment so that others can also learn from this, it's step it back, step it back, step it back. So the one thing is, what if this was easy and effortless? Yeah. So I want you to write those words down. So you know how you say that other word? And you can already frame up that it's going to be hard at first. Yeah. None of us want to attempt anything that's going to be hard. So what it is let's really align this mindset that you walked through. What if it was easy and effortless? And this is what I'd like you to do, and I'd like you to write this down for yourself and take it back. Because what I heard was that you really like to reward yourself with being able to sit in quiet space and watch something. You want to honor all these things about you. So then that's why I said think about the night before. What then could you think about that can put that in place so that you have that reward of having that downtime, watching your program, and getting to bed at that time that you think is going to allow you to get up. Now, if it's easy and effortless, here's the thing about easy and effortless. It's usually simple, yet it also takes a bit of practice when we've already had another habit in place. So it's about, I'm going to do this for 7 days, no expectations, I'm going to have a go at it. And then in 7 days, I'm going to go, oh, okay, was that timing right for me? So see, that's how you can make it easy and effortless, is to allow yourself time, 7 days to just have a go.
Yeah.
Right? Have a go. There are no must-dos, have-dos, expectations. The alternative is to just keeping going the way you are. And if I spoke to you in 7 days, I know that not much would change. Whereas at least if you contemplated this, focused on it, and allowed yourself to easily and effortlessly create a week of having a go, you'll have a different experience.
Yeah. Okay.
How does that sound, though, for you?
That sounds awesome. I'm putting this pressure on myself and I'm rebelling against that pressure.
Yeah. So you're talking to a kin spirit here of pressure and have-tos and restrictions. This is why I can definitely share this stuff. I'm like, really? What are these rules? So what if it was easy and effortless? But I have to get that into my thought process to allow myself to go, what's ease and effortless? Well, time. So, okay, I'll contemplate that. So really allow yourself to be gentle and be easy and effortless in doing that. So it's just about using different words and thinking about it differently. Perfect. Yeah. Awesome. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, just curious. Thank you, Julie. That was perfect. And thank you for sharing that extra bit, because there's always, all of us benefit from that. That's exactly why we're here. Did anyone else want to share their experience or share some insights? What did they love about that? What could have been challenging? Just to check in.
Yeah, sure, I'll go.
Yeah.
I definitely realised there's quite a bit that's off track at the moment. So I've really been struggling with my offer, but I have done it. But I've really been putting that off. And so when you talk about, behaviours and stuff, like honestly looking back at my behaviours, I was really in fear and, just finding other things to do, really procrastinating. So coming back and going like, what does a six-figure mindset do? They don't procrastinate. They just...
But is it clearer? What do they do? So even for yourself, so this is the thing, because this is really about activating. We're in a space now where we're going to start activating. So ladies, you might find that when I do this, and Lexi, I usually mean to pre-frame that when you're speaking, if I grab you in a moment, it's not because I'm not listening, it's because I know I can grab you in that moment and it's more effective for you. So you think that it is that. It's what would that person do in that moment? Procrastination, struggling, fear. Did you hear those three things that come through?
Yeah,
and so it's not about going, bad Lexi, bad Lexi. All it is going, oh, I'm curious, I'm using those words, and they really don't give me the charge that I want. So therefore, just be aware of it. Okay, these things are lingering. What is it that I do? I procrastinate, because every human person will go, don't know what to do, so I'm just going to stay here. Okay, and then sometimes what they can do is they find other things that falsely keep them busy and keep them from getting done what it is they want. So something, and I might have shared this offline just before we started, is that there's secondary gains. We get stuff out of not doing things. Yeah. We get stuff out of being the victim. So it's human. Allow and honor the humanness of this. This is exactly why you've stepped up and you're doing this, right? And I want you to really focus on honoring the fact that you said yes to you, and I'm here to go, this is my stuff. Here's what I see. Here's what I don't see. How can we work through this? And so when I make these suggestions in the moment, that's what I'm doing. I'm always just listening in so that I can say to you, the next time you find yourself in that procrastination space, and it is, because I'll hear myself go, here you go, you did it again. Oh, it's just too hard. I can't. And I do that check-in. I go, okay, so if it was easy and effortless, if it was, what would that be like? And so what you did is you gave me a nice segue. It's, what is that six-figure person? What would they be doing? What is their mindset? What is their self-talk? Right? And this is exactly what I was going to do, which I was going to do before this activity, but I'll add it on now. I want you to think about, so if you could share this with me, Lexi, do you know a six-figure businesswoman who displays the behaviors and the mindset that you would love to have?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so it's a little bit like our avatar. It's a little bit like our ideal client. This is going to be your ideal model. What you do is take that person, because you know them. And can I say, I've even done this at times where if I don't know something about them, I ask them. People love to know that you admire what they're doing. And so any of these activities I do with you that comes from NLP, this stuff was actually created because it was about modeling the excellence of achievers and successful people. So what we need to do is we really need to understand, what do they do? Who are they being in order to have those things? So if you wanted to spend some time to just be curious, to observe that person, watch them, listen to the way they speak, listen to their language, they're going to give you evidence of their mindset and what they're thinking. And so it gives you insight to go, okay, when I'm in that moment and I know that I might have a secondary game where I go, but if I procrastinate, then there's no expectation. But also, then it means I'm not getting done what I want to get done. And sometimes we need that little bit of pressure. We definitely want that, because some of us, it's part of our makeup. We need that to get us moving. So embrace that too. Having awareness and just knowing that that's one of my strategies. It's okay, let's flick into that model. What would they do? See how sometimes when our focus goes on that, it takes away from what we're not doing or what we're doing wrong, blah, 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 blah. It breaks and interferes with that. So I was going to get you all to think about that model. Think about that person that you know. Sometimes we don't need to know them personally. There's lots of ways now we can tap into these successful people online and just listen to the way they speak. Listen to some of the interviews that they have, and you really get insights to their beliefs, their values, who they identify as, you know, who do they have around them. You know, that they often say that we are, you know, the average of the 5 people we hang with. I've watched this happen in the last sort of 2 years, say with my husband, who has done a lot of development work in his business, and a different group of people that he's with, and his whole mindset and his whole behavior has changed. So it's like, and I'm just saying that because I can watch him. I don't reflect on how I do it, but this is sort of why we share this with each other, because you really want to create that environment and you want to be able to reflect those things, to know that here's how I step in. Now, I'm going to be honest, sometimes to step into those spaces means that you're going to go into an old programming of, they're better than me, they know more than me, you want that because whenever you are the kingpin, whenever you are the best in the room, unfortunately you spend a lot more time teaching others, and there's definitely a time and space to do that. But when do you create the space for you to go in to learn, develop and grow? All right, so definitely play with that activity around finding the model of a 6-figure earner, and really start to get curious on who are they being, what's their environment like. We tend to observe, you know, the car they drive, where they live and all the stuff that they've got, yet there's something underneath that. All right, there's a whole relationship with money that they have. There's a whole can do, how do I attitude behind that. They're the things that I really want you to get curious about now. So whenever you find yourself getting a little bit triggered or a little bit stuck, straight away get into our group and go, da, 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 da. I need to be reminded. I need to be reminded how I can move forward right now. And there's plenty of us that will do that. All right. So to close off our session today, there are two things. And this is, like I said, I'm always throwing in the magic. Every session we have, it's about the mindset. It's about our actions, our accountabilities, our intentions, our consistency, and our goals. Our next week or 2 weeks before I see you again, here's what I want you to continue doing, yet with a different focus. I want us to continue doing our daily gratitude, yet it's daily gratitude around the money relationship we have and our business. So it'll be grateful for, I got 2 sales today. It'll be, I'm grateful for, I really learnt how to create a 6-figure mindset today, and I'm excited. I want this gratitude to be very much aligned with money mindset and business mindset. All right, so now that we've got the muscle happening, we're going to focus down on that aspect. And then the other
Julie, just on that, I found that really difficult to add my business into my last lots of gratitude.
Yeah.
I felt like, oh, hang on, I shouldn't be grateful for that. And so I just didn't do it. I really struggled to put anything grateful around my business at all.
Yeah, and that's that old ego thing of, oh, how can I toot my own horn, or how can I, should I sort of acknowledge that, oh, that's my. Yeah. And yet, when you did that, what was the experience like? When you were able to share with us that milestone, and what I loved that we were in that session when that last sale come through that took you over, because I could see it, and I knew as much as you love us, your whole being was like, oh my gosh, right? Can't wait to get off this call. That's the stuff, because there's a lot of work, there's a lot of development, there's a lot of focus that went into that. That's what I want you to do, all right? It's just an old patterning that has us go, I won't say anything. Oh, should I toot my horn? What if others aren't having the same success? You need to be that trailblazer, because, we're following, that's just how it is. Own it. All right, perfect. And then the second task, thank you, Tony, because that was really actually very, very valuable to share, because we all do that. And that's the importance of doing it. The second task is I'd like you to, and this is just a one-off post, I'd like you to post a post, and the title is The 6-Figure Version of Me. All right, and underneath that, there's going to be 10 points that are going to pinpoint who you'll be, what you'll do, and what will you have. So, for example, the 6-figure version of me will allow myself 1 full day without technology, without connection to business. It's completely about self-care, giving to me, being for me, and I'm going to have that planned in. The 6-figure version of me will have $20,000 in savings. The 6-figure version of me will absolutely be confident and certain in what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And I'll practice that daily. So see how you're really sort of stepping into that 6-figure version of you. And when you have those key points there, because I really want, some of them are going to be like, oh, I'd like that. I want you to write it down. And again, that's going to be another thing I want around you to, because you have to acknowledge what that six-figure version of you is going to do, be, and have. Because we've really got to get it into the brain so that when those things happen, our brain then goes, oh, there's a bit of evidence on how I can create that, on how I can do that, how I can be that, and how I can have that. But we need to create that mindfully, and the best way is to write it down. So they're the 2 tasks for this week. Continue the daily gratitude around our finances and around business, and also the one posting of the 10 points, which basically states who that 6-figure version is of you. How does that sound? What are you feeling? What are you noticing? a quick check-in, ladies. How are things for you right now, coming to the end of this session and bringing together really all the sessions up till now? How are you feeling moving forward?
Yeah, I found that really good. I'm feeling a little bit challenged, like I'm about to grow, which is really good. But I love what you've done around the gratitude and focusing on the business and the money. I love that because that's going to really challenge me.
Yeah.
And the post is going to challenge me as well, but I feel like it's time for me to do that.
Yeah. Because you know that it's a safe space and it's non-judgmental.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, and you know what? Because even myself, there'll be days where I'll be just grateful that my husband has given me that extra little bit of money just to go shopping. There's things like that. There's a reality to this that, and I know you ladies are the same. We have this brilliance. We have people who come to us and tell us how amazing we are. And yet we still may find ourselves with this relationship with money that's not representing that.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's our ego that steps in and goes, should, mustn't, not, it's this, it's that, all those sorts of things. So yes, this is definitely part of, yes, owning that. Yeah.
I really like this space because I don't feel guilty about talking about business, because I find when I'm with like my girlfriends or with my family, they don't want to know about my business. They don't want me to go, oh, I'm really grateful that I made $4,000 this month. They don't really. I find it nice to be in a space where you can go, you know what, I want to be grateful for my business. I want to be grateful for the money I'm making or the relationships I'm making or my business is doing well, and not feel guilty about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you hear that conviction in your voice? Hold that for a second. Okay. Yeah. I wanted the power, not the light, but both come on. I didn't want to lose you. I didn't want my computer to go off. That is absolutely. And the thing is, it's because they don't need to. They don't need to have that conversation. They don't need to. You don't need them. You don't need them. I was listening to Sophie sing the other night again. You know, when she was saying how you got nothing to prove. You don't owe anybody anything. Let's love our friends for that. And sometimes we choose to go into that space to have that fluffy conversation or to just talk about other things. Know where to take this, where it's going to be honoured, where it's going to be championed, because that's exactly about, so right back at that environment. What's the environment that you need to create to be that, to own it, to stretch it more? That's exactly perfect example, because sometimes, and even sometimes, so my husband is a very logical, practical thinker. I know that he will probably not really get, and even still he won't get what I do until there's excess income, until there's profit. And so I really have to know that my environment I create is here with you ladies, when I have other spaces that I go to, and I just know that sometimes I have a filter that when I'm discussing things and he wants to be practical and logical, I go, thank you for the feedback, and I'll just hold this thought for that space where I know that they get me or that they're going to nurture me in that space. So that's absolutely, and that's just really great awareness of self and others. Perfect. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Jasmine, can I check in quickly with you to see how you're going?
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know, I'm tired and I just wish that I could make the most of this. I'm proud that I'm showing up. And
absolutely.
I feel like I've taken this on for a reason at this point in time, and whatever it is I need to learn, like whatever plan this universe has for me right now, I'm going to gain something from this. Even though I feel like I'm not getting the most out of it because this little man over here. But, I think because of the course and because of what I've learned, I'm not actually beating myself up as much. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think old me would just be wanting to, hit my head against a brick wall thinking, why did I take this on? But I actually feel cool with how things are.
Perfect. So Jasmine, here's the brilliance and here's the significance of you and how you are doing this course. Whether there's us of us now who have little children, there's only one or two. There's us that have older children, so we've been there and we understand it. Then for people who do this course onwards, this is something that you have access to forever. Yeah. It is there for you to do at your own pace. Yeah. You are turning up right now with everything you have in your situation to give to you. You are taking in perfectly what you need to. And I know myself, you know, when my baby was 2 weeks before she was coming, and I was smack bang in the middle of a really, really big, massive, expensive course. And I was like you, I was thinking, what am I doing? And just say I go into labor. I remember I didn't have to do all of the assignments. I remember significant things that still stick with me now. What you're doing is you're showing those of us and those who are going to come after us how you can be flexible, how you can make this work for you right now, just as you are. Because, you know, this is multitasking at its greatest. We are mothers, we are nurturers, whether we have children, whether we have fur babies, we are always doing this. You are a real entrepreneur woman, right? Yes. So please know that. And so what, just because you've got Bubby there, or you might not be sitting at the thing, or you do it differently, it's perfect for you, and you're taking in exactly what you need to. Plus, you get to go back and do it whenever you need to. Yeah. So own that, because you're doing a service to lots of women that you don't even realize yet.
Oh, thank you. That's beautiful. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if you do need the extra conversations externally when Bubby's asleep, then know that that's there. So that's the beauty of our group. So no, I love it. I love that you shared that, because yes, the massive thing is that you show up.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yep. All right, ladies, I will wrap us up for today. Thank you so much. I love this. I love this session. This is a session that's going to unfold, and let's see what the week brings us. Bring it to the group if you need to have a conversation around anything. And I've loved having the dynamics of today. I'm loving getting to know you more, and we've only got a couple more of these sessions to go. So you will find that these sessions live with you for months beyond now. Have an awesome week. Have a prosperous week. Step into manifesting that mindset for exactly where you are right now, because it's perfectly aligned for where you are right now.
Thanks, Julie.
All right, girls. See you later. Have a great day.
Thanks, Julie.
See you. Bye. And cancel and go and